Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into the first article. The first article says two Olympic probables failed dope test. Confused why we have taken a sports article? Don't be, because UPSC can come up with the googlies and stump an aspirant, which is why doping in sports becomes a very important concept when it comes to ethics as well as when it comes to health issues. Let's try and understand what is it about doping that we have to know from the civil service examination point of view. This can be broken down into two important compartments. One is on the basis of ethical concerns, the other is on the basis of health related issues. Let's try and decipher what these concerns are with respect to doping in sports. First up, let's try and understand what is the meaning of doping. Let's say there is one of the athlete. He is taking illegal substance which is barred by the sports authority, or he is consuming one of the barred drugs. Why? Because he wants to boost his performance, improve his performance. How? By consuming the performance enhancing drugs. So in order to make sure that his performance with respect to the athletics or any of the sports gets enhanced, boosted up, or its performance increases in a particular time scale, what we have is called as the performance enhancing drugs. These performance enhancing drugs increase the muscle growth in that particular person and also limits the muscle fatigue, which helps in improving the performance. That is what is called as doping. So the doping basically includes taking some of the drugs or an injection or a stimulant so that that athlete is able to perform in a much better way in that particular event. When it comes to these performance enhancing drugs, there are different types. Let's try and understand what are these different types. First is what we have called as the stimulant. What is this stimulant? Let's say for example, when it comes to an athlete or any person who is engaging in a sports activity, what he requires the most is the concentration. What he requires the most is the focus. So when that particular person takes what is called as a stimulant, where one of the example can be amphetamines, this will increase the central and the peripheral nervous system's activity. Because there is increased activity when it comes to this nervous system, this can boost the performance of that athlete, where there will be enhanced focus, aggression and energy on the field, which is why he takes some of the stimulants when it comes to its performance enhancement. Then another example of this performance enhancing drugs is what is called as anabolic steroids. What are these anabolic steroids? They help in improving the muscle and the athletic performance. One such example is nandrolone. Next, what we have is diuretics. They help in eliminating the fluid from the body. What is the advantage of such performance enduring drugs? Let's say for example, there is one of the athlete. He has to fight in a, let's say, one of the matches. Let's say he is into wrestling competition. So he has to maintain a prescribed body weight. Let's say for example 55 kg category, or let's say for example 60 kg category. In an athlete there will be excess amount of water. So what will this performance enhanced drug will do? It will eliminate all the fluids that which is unwanted from that athlete's body, so that the weight required for that particular competition of wrestling is ensured. So the diuretics basically eliminate all the fluid that is unwanted from that athletics body. Then we have what is called as the blood doping agents. One of the example is erythropoietin. What will happen with the blood doping agent? This will increase the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, and as a result this will further enhance the performance of the individual. And as a result, all these are the different categories which will ensure that the activities of that particular athlete or a sportsman increase during a particular period. This can result in side effects. That is what we have to discuss. The first aspect is about the health related issue. What is it about the health related issue? This can lead to kidney damage, and it can also cause increased aggression in that particular person immediately. This may not reflect in that particular person, but over a period of time it can cause side effects to the person who has taken this drug. And this can also result in baldness when it comes to the men. This can also result in sperm count going down in a man over a period of time, and this can also increase facial hair and also deepen the voice of the women. Apart from this, it may also increase the heart issues, it may result in cardiac arrest, and spasticity with respect to that person may also increase over a period of time. These are some of the health related aspects. Now what we focus is on the ethical dilemmas. What are these ethical issues? Drugs are against the spirit of the sport. What is the objective of the sport? That is to extract what is good, what is natural limit of the human nature. But when there is performance enhancing drug that is consumed, they are artificially enhancing those limits, which means it is in odd with the essence and spirit of the sport. Many of these performance enhancing drugs, when they are consumed, also put the country's image in a bad light. Let's say, for example, there is one of the athlete, he's consumed this particular drug, and this will be tested by one of the sports authorities, and if it is found out that this person has won this particular sports event because of the consumption of this drug, the other athletes coming from this particular country may also be seen with suspicion as well, which is where the country's image will also go down as a result of this particular move. In order to overcome all these issues, what we have is the establishment of the World Anti-Doping Agency. What is this World Anti-Doping Agency? This was established in the year 1999. How is it funded? It is funded equally by the sports movement across the world and the governments of the world. What is the functions of this particular agency? Basically, this will identify what are the various loopholes that which is present with respect to all the sports. Identify the loopholes, research about the doping issues, research about the performance enhancing drugs, and ultimately bar these type of drugs so that the athletes will not be able to use. So basically, it will identify all these performance enhancing drugs, make a particular repository of it, and this will be communicated to the governments and countries world over such that their athletes do not consume all these prohibited items. So its main activity includes scientific research, education and awareness, development of anti-doping capacities, and monitoring the World Anti-Doping Code. So what will this agency do? This agency will have a repository where this repository will have those substances which are completely barred, and these substances should not be taken by that individual. So what are these substances? In case there is a substance which has the potential to enhance the sport performance, that will be completely barred. Then it represents an actual or potential health risk to the athlete, that will be completely barred. And if it is violating the spirit of the code, such substances or drugs will be eliminated or barred according to the WADA, which happens to the World Anti-Doping Agency. When will an athlete be tested? Let's say, for example, there is one of the national event or one of the international event. When this international event is going on, this person can be tested before the event or he can be tested after the event. In fact, if he's won that particular event, by default, such people will be checked if they have consumed any of these performance enhancing drugs. And if that particular person is caught with the taking of the performance enhancing drug, punishment can also be enforced by the World Anti-Doping Agency. What would be the punishment in general? He would not be allowed to play that sport for the entire lifetime, or depending on the circumstances as well as the intake of the quality of that particular drug, he may be reprimanded for at least 4 to 5 years down the lane. So depending on the quality, the person may be asked not to continue with that particular sport for a period of time or for the entire lifetime as well. In case the athlete feels that this particular judgment passed by the World Anti-Doping Agency is not right, he can also voice his opinion as well and go for the second test that is required. So these are some of the issues when it comes to the World Anti-Doping Agency. While we have WADA at the global level, what we have is NADA, which is the National Anti-Doping Agency at the national level. All those functions performed by WADA at the global, at the international level, is being performed by the National Anti-Doping Agency in India. What is the objective or mandate of this particular agency? This wants to make sure that athletes do not take dopes, they do not take any of the performance enhancing drugs, and make sure that dope free sports is prevalent in India. So the primary objective of this particular agency is to ensure that all the anti-doping rules as prescribed by WADA is implemented in India. So basically, it will promote education and research, create awareness about doping and ill effects, in India when it comes to the national authority. So when it comes to India, India is a signatory to Copenhagen Declaration on Anti-Doping and the UNESCO International Convention Against Doping. So this can be important from your preliminary examination point of view. But there are some concerns and issues when it comes to the operations of the National Anti-Doping Agency. What are these concerns? Let's say, for example, there is one of the athlete, or let's say a sportsman, who is practicing in a remote corner, or let's say in one of the tribal heartlands. This person may not know about the performance enhancing drugs, or he might not know what are the food habits that needs to be followed. He does not have any awareness of these type of substances which are bad about enhancing drugs. It is the responsibility of the National Doping Agency to give awareness to such individuals. In number of cases in the past, what we have seen is the National Anti-Doping Agency has failed at this particular front when it comes to giving awareness to the tribal athletes as well as practicing in the remote corners of the country. And at the same time, let's say, for example, there is one of the athlete, he is consuming one of the food items, but this food items may have certain contamination. This contamination might include one of the bad substances. So who should take the responsibility of it? It is the player. Who should take the responsibility of it? It is the coaches. But such awareness is again not given by the national anti-doping agencies in the past, and there have been examples as well. So such things will have to be reworked by the national anti-doping agency. There are examples at the international quarters that we have to look at. Shenwan is one such example, and we have Maria Sharapova, where she had consumed meldonium, which was banned because it aids oxygen uptake and endurance. So what is the way forward? When it comes to India, we have the National Anti-Doping Agency. It has to educate the athletes about the dangers of doping, and at the same time, all precautions and operational implementations that were supposed to be executed by the National Anti-Doping Agency will have to be enhanced, and an awareness program will have to be conducted. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article says COVID-19 vaccine rollout, course correction in the face of resurgence. When we look into number of states in India, what do we actually witness is increasing cases of COVID-19. Let's take the example of Maharashtra, or let's take the example of Punjab, or let's take the example of Haryana. What do we actually see is the resurgence of the COVID-19 cases, increase in the COVID-19 cases. So what this article speaks about is that the central government and the state governments will have to take some steps, and they have to come up with an action plan so that this particular issue is ultimately brought to an end. So the article is speaking about the steps that have to be taken by the central government and the state governments, both in terms of limiting the spread of the virus transmission and also about the vaccination intake as well. Let's try and understand what is this article all about. Why are the cases when it comes to these states and across India increasing? That is because when you look at March of 2020 and April of 2020 and May of 2020, what did we have? We have the central government coming up with lockdowns, we have the state governments enforcing these lockdowns, and there were strict parameters that were supposed to be followed by all the people in case they are stepping outside. So what were these parameters? In case there were people who were stepping outside the houses, they had to wear a face mask. But what is happening of late? When you consider the earlier situations, people wore masks in all the places because they were scared about the coronavirus, and now they feel that the impact of coronavirus has completely been eliminated, which is why they are not wearing the mask, and that happens to be the major burden both for the government and also for the individuals. Apart from this, let's say, for example, the hand hygiene, which was supposed to be maintained by all the people by using the hand sanitizers or washing their hands, is again not being maintained by the people. Let's go back to March 2020, April 2020, May 2020. Even if we stepped outside the house, even if we had not touched anything, we used to wash our hands rigorously, we used to wash our clothes rigorously, we used to wash the vegetables rigorously. But now is the time where the basic hand hygiene modules are still not being followed after the relaxation of all these lockdowns. Apart from this, the physical distancing that we are supposed to follow is again being violated, and at the same time, all those huge programs, parties, weddings, these were all restricted in the year 2020, and now since we have opened up, this is also causing an increase when it comes to the COVID-19 cases. Added to the problems of this is the expansion of the transport sector. Let's say for example, when it comes to Maharashtra, let's say for example, especially in Mumbai, what we have is the opening up of transport services when it comes to urban and suburban train services. As of now, because of all these activities, there is increasing cases or resurgence of COVID-19 in multiple states in India. That includes Maharashtra, that includes Punjab, Haryana, so on and so forth. So the article here is primarily focusing on two important aspects. One is the institutional mechanism, that which were supposed to be followed, where the state governments had to follow it, where the state governments enforce these laws. The other is speaking about vaccine development and its application. Let's try and understand what is it about vaccine application. Let's say we have the Drug Controller General of India. It has given permission for the serums Covishield and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. These vaccines were administered to all the healthcare professionals in the month of January 2021, and immediately after the healthcare professionals, those of them who are working in the essential services, it was administered to such people as well. Let's say for example the sweepers in the hospital, or let's say for example the police people who are working in the premises as well. So such people were administered with the Covaxin as well as the Covishield. And in March 2021, what we have is the second round of administering of vaccination. This included the senior citizens who are above 60 years of age and those above 45 years with comorbidity. This was the pattern that we have been following when it comes to increasing the vaccination rate in India. But the article here is primarily focusing because of the resurgence of the cases in about 6 states. Do we require a new strategy? Is what is this article focusing? So the article currently says that when it comes to India, we have to currently change, or we can at least look at changing a particular pattern. So what should it be? The priority should be about vaccinating the older people or the senior citizens. So when it comes to the senior citizens, let's say there is a particular individual who is about 85 years, so he has to be prioritized first, and then it has to be drastically reduced up until 60 years. So the senior citizens whose age is comparatively more, they have to be prioritized over the other ones. Apart from this, the article focuses on all these 6 states: Maharashtra, Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Delhi, where it says that because there is resurgence of the COVID-19 cases, the vaccine should be given to all these people in these states where the density of the population is comparatively more, and eventually in other states of India where the resurgence is not comparatively more, what we have to ensure is giving these vaccines to the senior citizens as well as to the ones who are suffering from comorbidities. So the priority should be shifted towards these resurgence, says this article. Apart from this, we also have to follow some of the action plans which is present in other countries, and we have to have a focus with respect to the rural India. Let's say for example, when it comes to countries like United States of America, they have started using mobile vaccination centers and have established vaccination centers in supermarkets. In case there are similar such examples across different countries world over, such examples will have to be adapted, imported and should be used suitably when it comes to India, says this article. Another important factor is when it comes to the vaccine hesitancy. What is vaccine hesitancy? There is vaccines that are present. In spite of the vaccines, people are still not taking these vaccines. This is called as vaccine hesitancy. This is where the article says that information, education and communication should be given to the people. We have the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, who was given this particular vaccine. We have other celebrities as well who were given this particular vaccine, and they have set an example. So taking their example, people should completely remove what is called as the vaccine hesitancy, or they not taking this particular injection, which means to say the government has the responsibility to provide the information, education and advantages of this particular vaccine to the people so that they can take up more when it comes to the vaccine administration. So there should be a healthy education campaign that should be run by the government. They should rope in the celebrities and they should set an example by giving the public data about the clinical trial as well, so that this particular hesitancy is completely eliminated. So India going forward will have to increase the vaccination spread. The output of the vaccination should have to be increased, and at the same time all those things that were followed before the vaccination was in place will have to be followed, and the state governments will have to be really stringent towards its application, says this article. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article says framework for testing water launched. What is this article all about? We have the Ministry of Jal Shakti. It has recently issued a framework or a set of guidelines for what? For testing, monitoring and surveillance of the drinking water quality that comes in the tap water. So in order to ensure that the tap water that comes in the rural areas, in the urban areas, in all those areas where this is being consumed, to check its water quality, they have come up with a particular framework. Added to this, they have come up with a portal called as the Water Quality Information Management System. What is this portal all about? Let's say there is a particular area, the tap water, whether it is good or not, has to be tested. So how will it be tested? What we require is a laboratory. Where is this laboratory? All of these details and the quality update will be provided in this particular portal called as the Water Quality Information Management System. So this is an online portal that provides the detailed information on the laboratories that have been established for this very purpose of checking the drinking water quality from the tap water. Why is this being considered by the government of India? For this, we have to go back to the year 2018. According to an assessment that was made by the Central Groundwater Board, about 52% of all the blocks in the country have one of the geogenic contaminants. What are these geogenic contaminants? These are the naturally found contaminants. Let's say for example arsenic, let's say for example chloride, fluoride, iron, nitrate, or increased salinity when it comes to the drinking water. So what did this particular assessment said? That about 52% had these geogenic contaminants when it comes to India. Added to this, nearly 20 states in India have drinking water source that is contaminated with these geogenic contaminants, says this particular assessment. In order to overcome this particular issue, what the government has currently come is with a set of guidelines and the framework to find out if the water has quality or not. What are these frameworks and the guidelines? According to these guidelines, there will be a check of water quality on the basis of pH value, total dissolved solids, turbidity, chloride, total alkalinity, total hardness, sulfate, iron, total arsenic, fluoride, nitrate, total coliform bacteria, E. coli or thermotolerant coliform bacteria. These will be tested. The water quality will be tested where? At the state level, at the district level, at the block and the tehsil level, and the village level. So these guidelines that have been come up by the Ministry of Jal Shakti is in total resonance with the Indian Council of Medical Research. So their feedback was taken, they were consulted, and because of the Indian Council of Medical Research framework, they have introduced this particular module. What is the significance of this particular guideline? Citizens can now get their water quality in their taps tested at a reasonable price. Apart from the voluntary test, that which is conducted by the members of the public, officials have also been mandated to do regular inspections. But what we have is one of the major hurdle when it comes to the execution of this particular project. What is it? As of now, we have only 66 of the 2033 water testing laboratories which have been certified by the National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. Because we have less number of laboratories, executing this particular problem will be a major challenge. So what is the conclusion that we can draw? In case there is an individual who wants to know the quality of tap water, this can be done immediately at a reasonable price. This data will be uploaded on the Water Quality Information Management System, and at the same time there will be a local official who will be put in place in that particular area to understand the source of the contaminant, and the water quality should be provided to that individual as well as in that region. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article says Martian blueberries find a parallel on Earth. Let's try and understand what is this article all about. Back in the year 2004, NASA was engaged in the Mars exploration mission. According to this particular mission, it had engaged one of the rover, and this rover was called as Opportunity. So what is this Opportunity? This is nothing but a robotic rover that which was active on the Mars exploration mission of NASA. What is the role or the objective or the function of this particular rover? Basically, it will try and understand what is the surface of the Mars. It will move across the solid surface as shown in this particular image. As it moves across the surface of the Mars, it will try and identify what are the wide range of rocks as shown in the image, what are the different types of soil on Mars, and at the same time, is there any water on the surface of Mars. All this were to be discovered by this particular rover called as Opportunity. As this particular rover was moving through the path of this particular region, it also identified some of the spears. What are these spears? As shown in the picture, they are the kind of stones, and this particular spear had what is called as the mineral hematite. Now when you look into this particular spear, it has blue tinge or blue color in nature, which is why it was also called as Martian blueberries, because these spears had a tinge of blue in it, which is why they were called as Martian blueberries. Why are we discussing this? That is because a similar hematite is also present in India, where in the Kutch region of Gujarat. This is where it has excited the scientific community. Why? Because when it comes to the hematite, or when it comes to the formation of the hematite, what we require is the presence of water. Because there is formation of mineral hematite in the Mars region, the scientific community assumed that there was presence of water, and at the same time, for hematite to be present in that particular region for a longer period of time, for it to be stabilized, what we also require is the oxygen. So because there was presence of hematite, the scientific community feel that there might have been the presence of water, there might have been the presence of oxygen, because it has been stabilized for a number of years. And as a result, what the scientific community feel is that in the previous instance or in the past, Mars might have had water, Mars might have had stabilized oxygen, is what the scientific community says. In the present scenario, we have the researchers who have been studying hematite concretions in the Kutch region of India. According to the paper published by the researchers, they say that blueberries that are present in India and Mars have similar characteristics. So the blueberries that are present in India and the blueberries that were discovered in Mars are similar in nature, and they have similar characteristics, says this research paper. So what should be done in the near future? More studies should have to be conducted, and they have to discover what exactly is this particular blueberry that is present in India in the Kutch region. So more studies will have to be taken up, similar mineralogy and mixture of hematite and goethite will have to be studied, and more investments will have to be made in this particular region, is what is this article all about. Now let's look into the next article. This article, Relooking the Mandal Verdict and Quota Cap, has been explained in the last week. Retrospective loss and Kane tax dispute has been explained in the first week of March, so kindly look into it. Both these articles have been discussed, so we will not be discussing these articles. Now let's look into the mains practice question. Discuss the ethical issues associated with doping in sports with relevant examples. Next question. As the number of people with COVID-19 continues to increase in the current pandemic, what are the proven interventions to prevent virus transmission? So please write all your answers on the comment section, peer review, give positive feedback to your friends' answers. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.